for the people that are watching, I've got Matt from Danger Sign. Matt is a custom painter, well, a custom pinstriper.
Yeah.
And where did we start?
It all started, like I think it does for a lot of people, is watching Biker Build Off and American Hot Rod, stuff like that. Seeing these old fellas come in who can look like they can't walk that far, and then they lay a perfect line down. Yeah, saw that, thought, oh man, I've got to go that.
So was that the bit that got you? Was it like the striping, or was it like the paint as well, or was you just fixated on like, shit, that looks extremely hard but so fucking cool?
Yeah, it's a bit of everything really. The challenge, and then it was the striping that I was amazed by the fact that someone could do something like that, and you're just drawing lines. It looks, yeah. It's
like we spoke earlier. Like it's the ability that how you guys can make it look so easy, and yet like I attempted to do that. Like I said earlier, like mate, I just masked it both sides and literally laid down some paint. But to see how you guys do it and the rawness of it, and because it's done by hand, and you can tell it's done by hand, but done so well. Like it's like. So, when did you start doing it? How, like,
I'm 7 years in, basically.
Wow, not that long then, really?
No, not really, no. I mean, a load of my mates got together and bought me a starter kit for my 30th birthday. I didn't actually do anything with it. I kind of picked it up and, it's not good enough, put it down again, like 5 minutes here and there. 7 years back, I decided, you know what? I've said I'm going to do this, so I'm going to do it. And it kind of all fell into place. I was in the right headspace, and it just worked. I kind of took to it, really, as is the only way I can describe it.
So, like, obviously, there's the learning side of physically doing it, but clearly, as like, obviously, you're the man behind the custom culture design, and obviously, like, your artwork, like the pinstriping. Where did the inspiration come from for the artwork? Did you just literally naturally follow suit with the pinstripers, or because like this is very tattoo, Ed Roth,
it's everything.
Like to rap think, like
I can't remember a time where I haven't drawn. So basically, from when I was really, really young, I can't remember not drawing in my spare time.
Right.
So and it's just the custom culture side of it, the hot rods, the bikes, the artwork, the tattooing, it all kind of goes in and comes out of my head in some way. It's awesome. I love all this stuff. So it's any way I can get what's in my mind onto paper, or onto swords, or onto my own body. I mean, it's
so a lot of stuff's like your designs on your tattoos as well, and then you're like, so did you take? So naturally, because a lot of it clearly very American style, Americana. Like, it's cool as hell. Like, obviously, again, like to be fair, I have actually got it up on the page anyway.
Oh, cool.
I've shared the post. I did print some out. But no, I mean it's cool as hell, and like just watching it. Like I filmed you earlier, that video that I'm going to put together, and it's so fluid. Like the fluidity of it. Like, did you find it easy? Pick up.
I possibly found it easier than most, just because of the eye-hand coordination always having drawn.
Right.
But it was a learning process. The thing about pinstriping is there's so much before you actually pull a line. There's paint consistency, finding the right brush for you, stuff like that. And so the way people should start is get a piece of glass, pull line after line after line, wipe it off, do it again, keep doing that for months, right, possibly even a couple of years. I kind of did it ass backwards, and I just started doing what I thought were cool designs. Right. Almost shot myself in the foot, but because I think I was able to do the lines fairly quickly, it kind of worked, but I wouldn't recommend doing it the way I did it, because I made it hard for myself, definitely. Yeah. And also, you do a lot of things, and you think they're terrible and wipe them off, and I'm trying to be better, but I started off as one of those people, if I don't like something, I'll wipe it off and start again. You've got to embrace the fact that it's not perfect. It's like you say, the hand-drawn effect, the hand-painted effect of it. So I've always said, if you make a mistake on one side of a symmetrical design, deal with it and make the other side match. Yeah, it's and
like I do with tattooing.
Exactly.
Like, only the other day when I did Star Wars emblem, one of the lines, I literally, the way I come round like, contouring my wrist, naturally my wrist started pulling off direct. And you probably experienced that with following lines. And you know, sometimes you aren't able to move the arm around to carry on. So you have to, and that's you work with it.
Yeah.
Like it's like we was talking about like last night and today, like due to the fact it's so easy to technology's enabled being able to print stuff straight onto paint almost now. Yeah, that's great for people that can't afford handmade stuff. But the plus side is the people that are in a position that appreciate it, they're coming round more, and like you might have maybe less work due to the financial sort of way the world is. But you know that the people you're actually dealing with are genuinely wanting their work done. They've come to you, they've farmed you out, they've found you. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like we spoke about, like there might be less customers maybe from before the financial way the world is. Yeah. But now you've got more serious people.
This is it. Yeah, I mean, it's people who want this kind of work, like with your tattooing or custom bike work, is they know they need to spend the money. Yeah. So it's if I always use the phrase reassuringly expensive. If someone comes to me and says, "Oh, I want a tank doing," and I say 50 quid, they're going to go, "Hang on a minute, it's no good." Same as if someone said, "Oh, I want a full sleeve," and you say, "Oh yeah, I charge 150 quid a day." There's no such thing as a cheap tattoo. There's no such thing as a cheap painter, and there shouldn't be.
No, and that's exactly it. It's like I've always said, like if you can walk into a studio and book a full day in for today or tomorrow, there's a question that needs answering.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's. I think personally, in the tattoo world, for example, my opinion, 3 months. I don't think book anyone over 3 months. Be realistic. You know, people don't want to wait more than 3 months. I mean, how's like your time scale? Is it like so if someone came to you, depending on work or?
Yeah, it is probably a couple of months. I mean, especially in summer, because I did a car show in Lincoln a couple of weeks back. I've got a couple of weeks. Well, I haven't got 2 weekends off. I'm doing a hot rod next weekend. I'm doing a low rider the weekend after, and then I'm into 5 shows on the bounce. And it keeps going. It's about end of September. I'll take a breath.
And this is what's so cool. Like I was talking about, like how we know Steve from Black Sheep Customs, like because you guys are doing it every day. Like the way you say I've got a low rider hot rod, like to you that's normal, but like to people like me, it's like wow.
It still doesn't feel normal to say it.
That's incredible.
It's the show I did a couple of weeks back. It was about 6 o'clock on Saturday. I've been doing bits of work, and I'd gone with a mate who were chatting. I'm doing a bit of painting. Someone turned up on a low rider bike, said, "Oh, I'll leave it with you, want some lettering." Came back in his notes, low rider, they wanted something, and I ended up with 3 low riders and a bike in front of my store, and I'm kind of stood there thinking, if you said 7 years back, I'd have all this cool stuff to work on. Cool, and the way I think about it, I get to work on this stuff. It's a privilege to me. Yeah. I get to put something of mine on things that I find amazing.
Yeah. And I feel the same about tattooing, and I wonder, like, because you feel so privileged, do you turn away stuff that you don't feel really that you could justify doing that, or like, as in that's not your style, so you would sooner not?
What I tend to do is, because I do tend to, if someone wants a certain style, I'll go off and figure out if I can do it, and then I'll come back to it. The main problem with pinstriping is if you're at car shows, like I got talking to someone from Bristol. I said, look, it's not worth your money for me to charge, because I've got to charge mileage at that kind of distance. But we're a bit of a family, the pinstripers, so I knew to recommend someone who I know down in Berkshire. Yeah. And said, look, I know someone, he's really good, he's a lot closer to you, so it'll cost you a lot less. Yeah. So I never really turn away work unless I think something, because like someone asked me for something and what they wanted would have been better done with vinyl, because they didn't want it really for a long time. Yeah. I was saying to them, look, I can either charge you a fair amount of money, because it was just a stripe around the van. Yeah. It's like, I only want it for 6 months. Well, it's going to cost you a bit of money, so maybe do this and see if you like it, see if you want to stick with it permanently.
And this is something like I've been saying a lot in my podcast and like in the community, is like the fact is, like, you simply aren't taking without giving, and your giving would be in the respect, and maybe I'm wrong the way I say it, but by not taking that work from someone, you're giving back to the culture. You're not ripping off from the culture. You're not just lying in your pockets. You're being honest. You're being like, because you're equally as passionate as like most of us that really are in the culture. Truly, we are. You know, we're not about I need to charge that person for that and do that and like adding up the hours you probably do. The jobs would probably cost triple the amount you're actually charging.
They might do, and it's getting carried away as well. It's like someone will say, "Oh, go mad," and it's not really
like,
what you want to say to me, because I will.
Give me an open check, mate.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I will work to people on the flip side. I'll work to people's budgets. If they say I want to spend this much, I'll give them that much amount of work, and I'll make sure they know that's what they're getting. It's like, I never want to have this reputation of ripping anyone off, and also, when you're in the moment, you perhaps end up doing a bit more than you should. But that's my problem. That's not
absolutely. And obviously, like, by being generally humble and honest about things, like, obviously we were talking earlier off there, like, you're responsible for farming, for getting the lads together, for pinstriping for the Custom Culture show. You've ended up being the guy that's done all the design work and artwork. And at the end of the day, you wouldn't have been able to do that from not being a genuine respecting the culture and balance. It's about balance, isn't it? It's like, but no, it's incredible what you're doing, and I mean, obviously, I got that. I say, once I upload that video, I tag you in it, like, to be able to, because we all see like custom painted swords and things like that on Instagram, but like to actually stand in a booth and see them all on the walls, it's like, fucking hell, that's cool as fuck, you know.
It's amazing to think that people think of me like that when I got into it, thinking of other people like that.
Yeah.
I've met some of my absolute heroes.
Wow.
Neil Meliard from ProSign from down south. I grew up reading Volksworld magazine with his work in it. Every awesome car had his work in it. And he came to my booth and was complimenting me.
And you're like, what?
You're almost tearing up because you're thinking, man,
I know.
And he's saying to me, I'm just a painter like you, so you're not a painter like me.
They don't understand how they've shaped. Like, I interviewed a guy I interviewed Big Truth from Chopperhead, the Big Truth podcast, and we were talking about Indian Larry. And like, he puts the camera around, and he's like, there's one of Larry's bikes. And I'm like, obviously being like an 11-year-old kid watching Discovery Channel, seeing Indian Larry on Biker Build Off, so then obviously unfortunately he passed away, so we're never going to get to meet him. If you've been lucky, great, that's incredible. But like, to know that but I get excited of knowing that I'm talking to someone that owns one of his bikes.
Talking
to someone that spoke to him. You know, and that's not the far. I interviewed another guy, Terry from Lethal Threat, who makes clothing, and like, he helped push one of. I mean, his shop is in the Bronx. You know, he goes to the yard party every year, and he knew Larry, like, you know, and he was like telling me like how he was talking to him, helping push a bike into a show, and it's like, these guys just say, normally it's like, fuck, like, wow.
You know, like, meeting these true legends, and Larry was. I mean, I like bikes. I've never had my bike license. It's not something I think I'd ever. I come from a generation where my mum said, if you get a bike, you don't really live here anymore.
Right,
so it never really happened for me.
So that's how you ended up into the
I got more into four wheels. It's like the campers.
The bug scene and the
It started off with Volkswagens. Now it's all sorts, hot rods and whatever I can get my hands on. Like I say,
are you doing a lot of custom work on bikes?
I do custom work on bikes. Yeah, it's always horrible when you get that phone call when they've laid the bike down. Though, I got one off the mate, and I did some work I was really proud of. He loved it. He phoned me and said, "Oh man, I stuffed the bike under a delivery truck."
No.
So, oh man, you all right? Oh yeah, I broke my ankle, but I saved the tank. So I'm not entirely sure whether he put himself underneath the bike to
save his tank. When my mate did the paintwork on my ZX10, it's like we did it like so we did like the clean film method on wet paint, effect, and ended up being 40 coats of paint. To most of it's lacquer to hide, you know, because you can't flatten the surface.
No.
And he was like, "Don't drop it, and if you do, don't come anywhere near me. I'm not interested.
Stick a sticker on it.
Right, go away." You know, it's like, right. So like, trying to convince him to do that one, he's like, "Josh, I'm retired. I'm not doing paint. I'm not doing paint anymore." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you've still got all your equipment." And he's like, "I'm not doing it," like, because already I'm like trying to convince him of doing a half patinaed rat rod style flame, have it torn like a torn effect, like I got on my ZX10. Cool. And then the bare metal side, I want to do like sketched flames. And he's like, no. And I'm like, "Yeah, but," and he's like, "No." Because he knows
you'll get him. Keep wearing it.
I'm just like, and he's like, "But yeah, no, it's, hey, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me, mate. I appreciate it." And obviously, people want to get hold of you. Best way to find you?
Best way to find me is Instagram. It's danger_sign on Instagram. Or just put in danger sign and I'll come up, because it's
next event to find you at.
Next event to find me at will be VW Festival in Leeds at Harewood House. That is second weekend of next month.
Of August. And then obviously, like, you're the main man behind the art side of the Custom Culture Blast Off. That's at the same venue we're at now.
Yes, yeah, fantastic venue, fantastic show. It's going to be, we're bringing it back to what it was. It's going to be, we're all passionate about it. It took a bit of a dive, became a car show, became a music show, and it's going to be what it was. It's an art show with some bikes and cars. It's tattoos, it's burlesque, it's sign writing, pinstriping, airbrushing, body painting. It's all about the art. Yeah. So, absolutely. Come along. It's going to be an amazing
show. And that's it. Like, obviously, Jake, who's running the Backwards Barn Jam, he obviously took on the name and like pushed it forward, and obviously he's managed to work with you on the art side of things, especially. And obviously, that's what's great about social networking, right? You know, like, obviously I mentioned Black Sheep to him, like we spoke about off air, and I think Steve's got something going on with the club that hit the card.
Oh yeah, that's it. We're all pulling together,
and that's it.
We love the lifestyle, we love the art, and we love the cars, the bikes, everything. And it's almost like a homage to the couple that originally ran it, to Chris and Linda. We're naming the pinstripe, the panel jam for Chris, and they were all about it. It was the passion, and that's what we've got. That's what we want to carry on.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Right, so